Story 1.
My wife and I saw our 5-year-old daughter, but older. This happened a few months ago. In early January, my wife and I were in the kitchen, prepping lunch and chatting. Our 5-year-old daughter was in the living room, watching TV. No one else in the house. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and the layout of the house allows us to see a bit of the corridor and hallway outside the kitchen door. My wife was cutting up food, and I was sitting behind her. As we talked, she started to turn around to face me, but stopped midway, staring at the kitchen door. She froze up completely, and I remember asking, "What is it?" She let out a loud gasp, and then I instinctively looked toward the door as well. I saw a brief glimpse of what seemed like a person turning the corner, towards the living room. It happened very fast, but I was sure I saw someone. I panicked. My immediate thought was, holy fuck. Someone broke in. My daughter's alone in the living room. The only thing I thought of doing was grabbing a knife and yelled at my wife to call the police. I rushed into the corridor and into the living room. In the living room, there was nothing. My kid was just sitting on the couch, watching Bluey. She looked at me and asked, "What's up?" with a confused expression. Mind you, I had a knife in my hand and probably looked crazy. I tried to play it off and asked if she saw anyone come in the room. She hadn't and was clueless about what I was talking about. I searched the living room and the rest of the house. No sign of a break-in, windows closed, and we live on the 3rd floor. If someone had tried to escape that way, they would have fallen really bad. I checked everywhere, wardrobes, behind curtains, the front door. Nothing. No signs of entry, and the front door was totally closed, and we didn't hear anyone come in or anything of the sort. This all happened within maybe 10 minutes. I went back to the kitchen, where my wife was crying. She had frozen up and didn't call the cops. I calmed her down. She got scared bad, and she couldn't even speak properly. When she calmed down, she explained to me what she saw. I personally only caught a very quick glimpse of the thing turning around the corner. However, my wife says she got a good look at it. She says she saw what looked like a tall woman, dressed in a floral dress and high heels, walking across the corridor. Neither of us heard any sound, though. She said the woman stopped when she understood she was seen, looked at my wife in the eyes, and my wife swears the figure looked like our daughter, but older. This happened in the space of seconds, when she first froze up in shock. When my wife gasped, the woman hurried and turned the corner into the living room. I only saw this last part. If I hadn't caught a glimpse of it, I would ask my wife to go into therapy or something. But I know something was there. We never figured out what we saw, but it was definitely the strangest moment of my life, and I know it happened. Wanted to share here.
Story 2.
I'm in the UK and my car radio picked up a station out of Nevada. Time didn't feel right and I still have the chills now. This was just a few hours ago. I cannot stop thinking about it. The whole experience was extremely strange. My 2-year-old daughter was meant to be having her weekly custody night with her dad last night. Taking kids between parents' houses is currently permitted under COVID-19 restrictions. Usually she's fine with him, but he rang me at 1:30 a.m. saying that she was coming down with something and was very anxious and screaming for me. He stated he'd given her medication and done everything he could think of to calm her, but she just wanted me. It was clear he wasn't doing well, so I asked if he wanted me to come get her and he said yes. He lives 10 miles away, so I wasn't very happy about having to go. But of course my daughter needed me, so I had a quick coffee and hopped in the car. A good portion of the route is pretty much on the motorway highway, and I only remember seeing 2 cars on there as I got onto it. I presume key workers on a night shift. I usually get irritated by music in the car, but it was eerie and I also wanted to keep myself awake, so just put on a generic top 40 station that was playing ads. As I got to my junction, I remember suddenly jolting and having this weird feeling of, wait, I'm here already? I remembered going onto the motorway and putting the radio on, and then suddenly it was time to pull off. Usually I'd have been on the motorway 10 minutes. You could just say that because nothing significant happened and I was tired, my brain just saw no reason to log the journey. But around halfway between my 2 junctions there is a huge sewage plant right next to the motorway, and you can always smell it very strongly even if the windows are up. Usually on this route I know when I'm approaching it and hold my breath. Seemingly last night, though I just went past it without acknowledging it. Get to my ex's soon after and pick up my daughter. I have a coffee in his kitchen while he gets her stuff ready because I'm worried I'm too tired to drive safely and am regretting my decision to come and get her. My daughter is a lot calmer by the time I got there, but still very clingy towards me. We set off again. My daughter quickly fell asleep in the back and I had the radio on a low sound but still intelligible. As I pulled onto the motorway again, the radio started going glitchy and static. I just kind of left it as it was, expecting it to pick up again soon. Suddenly it starts blaring Nirvana, and weirdly loudly as well. Obviously a top 40 station wouldn't be playing Nirvana in 2020, so I assumed it was just interference and a rock station had took over. Bit weird, but it happens. I kept it playing and didn't give it much thought. Until the song ends and suddenly starts telling me the latest news headlines in Reno, Nevada. Some random American city I've never heard of. It definitely wasn't a UK-based station for Americans in the UK or something like that. It was telling me local news, and the clearly American presenter then started on a tangent about some event that had been cancelled in the city due to COVID-19 and how disappointed his wife and kids were about it. I was dumbfounded and just carried on listening, wondering how the fuck this was possible and when it was going to cut out. Eventually I did, just as I was about to pull off the motorway again. It must have been on at least 5 minutes. After it cut out, the local top 40 came back pretty instantly. I've been home few hours ago and my daughter has thankfully slept well. I haven't. I read online radio stations can travel further at night and bounce off the atmosphere. But fucking Nevada? Why would I be hearing that in Stockport, England? Perhaps if it was a station in on the US East Coast it might have made a slight bit more sense. That way it would only have had to jump across the Atlantic and not the entire continental US as well. That, along with the weird time lapse, has definitely given me the feeling the atmosphere was not right on that motorway. I cannot stop thinking about it.